Hey, what is going on, guys? DK back at you with another video here to break down the 7-game NBA slate on Thursday. If this is your first time watching, welcome. My name is DK. I make content for NBA Top Shot, for PrizePicks, and for daily fantasy sports. If you're looking for more in-depth content for DFS, I offer that on patreon.com. NBA package includes player pools, core plays, cash GPP plays, if-then statements regarding injuries, and then most important, our roster construction videos for the main and showdown slate. And then most importantly, the private live stream every day where we really talk about game theory for GPPs. So again, if that's something that interests you, you can check out more info in the description below. The sponsor of this video, guys, is PrizePicks, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about. It is a player prop site where you can play a lot of different ways you can play. So like for NBA, you can take over/under on points, fantasy points, assists, rebounds, three-pointers made, points plus rebounds plus assist. You can also mix and match sports. You can see in the top bar here all the sports that they have. They basically have every single sport you can think of, esports as well. So you pick two up to 5 of these, and you can win up to 10x your money. So if you guys want to give it a try, you can sign up and use my code DKDFS for a 100% match up to $100. Okay, so before we get into the video, let's take a look back at my lineup here from tonight. I know I've said this a lot, but like NBA DFS, I love it, but it is pain. Like 95% of the time, I'm just in incredible pain. But last night, recapping that, because I made the video at halftime and it wasn't looking good, but then LeBron James turned it on and Chalk Luka did nothing. I ended up 3xing my money last night. So that was a good feeling. Got lucky there for sure with that Luka fade. I was so scared about that, and he had a floor game. But here, okay. There was like 5 games that had blowout risk on the slate. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay. There's a good chance a lot of these teams don't stay competitive. I'm going to full stack, basically, the game that I think is, there's no chance of a blowout, right? It's like a 4 or 5 point spread. No blowout risk at all. High total game. Let me just full stack this game and hope some of those other games blow out. The Utah Jazz, they're like 15-point favorites. Donovan Mitchell, very, very popular. Rudy Gobert, pretty popular as well. Chalk Jazz. So I'm like, okay, this game blows out. I'm looking really, really good. I don't know what happened to that game. Not only did it stay competitive. No, not only that. Why not 5 more minutes? Overtime. But, the game that I stack, no blowout risk at all. Massive blowout. Starters get pulled with like 5 minutes to go in the fourth. Unbelievable stuff. De'Aaron Fox goes back 10 assists last couple games, right back to a scoring dependent guard. Like, are we serious here? And just take the over on CJ McCollum, points, rebounds, assist. Going to easily hit. Blowout. Unreal stuff. Trey Lyles, the minutes, like, really Alvin Gentry? We're going to play him 30 minutes and barely play him the next game? I mean, again, Lyles, 83%. Massive chalk as he should have been. I played the Chalk Suns. They're all smashing, but there's no surprise there, right? No Paul, no Booker. Pretty obvious that you wanted to load up on the Suns, and that game's looking like it's going to blow out now too. So, such a frustrating night. Here's the winning lineup right now. This is a Millie Maker, $2,500 entry. I believe there's 1,000 entries. So first place, this is the lineup right now. They got lucky with overtime. You got overtime for Indiana and Orlando, and you got lucky with overtime with Donovan Mitchell. But yeah, 5% Brogdon. I mentioned him. I was like, maybe the mids increase here. And if they do, I think he's a great GPP play. And he smashed. Mitchell obviously was a good play. Again, I was just tilted. The game went to overtime. so frustrated. Pokuševski was a smash. Once we got the news he was starting, he was a good value. Carter Jr. obviously overtime. 80% Lyles in this contest. Like I said, that's not a big surprise. Payne and then DeAndre Ayton. But yeah, that's it for the look back, guys. Oh, one more thing. So Twitter's wild. I will tell you, Twitter is, you see some crazy, crazy stuff. So little story time. I posted a meme about when people say going back to the lab. You see it all the time with people like gamers saying, oh, I'm going back to the lab. Or, people that are like, doing player props, like, oh, I'm going to go back to the lab to work on some plays. It's like, what's the lab? What are you talking about? Like, oh yeah, I'm going back to the lab to work on DFS. The lab's my couch. Like, what are you talking about, the lab? So I tweet out a meme of that guy. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's just like him laying on the bed, like bottles all over the place, like, oh, going back to the lab. And this guy is like, he sees it and he's like, oh, wait, this guy said this. I said like 200 likes. Like, if this gets to 200 likes, like, I'll release the fire plays. He's like, oh, this guy, he said 200 likes 2 days ago. You're calling him out. You're a fraud. You're a coward. You're a clown. Like, he's going like, just, you're jealous. Goes on a complete tangent, like writing paragraphs in the replies to the tweet. I'm just like, and this is not the first time this guy's done it. He's actually insane. Last year, I recommended Damian Lillard against Drew Holiday, and in the comment section, the YouTube comment section, he literally wrote a novel. He's like, how dare you? How dare you recommend Damian Lillard against Drew Holiday? That's an awful play. How dare you? Damian Lillard absolutely goes off. He thought he was sneaky. He tried to delete his comment because Damian Lillard went off. I had the receipts. Just roasted him on Twitter. I was like, dude, what are you, like, you're crazy. So that was one occurrence before. He also was so mad because we dominated Summer League. He started calling us that we were cheaters. And then this is complete like tangent. This guy going off. And I'm just like, dude, you need to like take a Xanax or something. I don't know. You need to do something, but chill out. But yeah, I thought it was funny. I was just like, Twitter, you see some crazy people. And then he had his burner account too. His burner account started, he was that mad that he has a burner account that started replying to me too. Just hit him with the block. I was like, dude, this guy's actually insane. And if you're watching this, you mad, bro? But all right, so let's get into the video now. We'll start off with Chicago and Atlanta. So good matchup here for the Bulls. Still no Lonzo Ball. Still no Caruso. Of the big three here with DeRozan, Vucevic, and LaVine, I think LaVine's probably the guy that stands out the most here at 8K. I know he's kind of taken a little bit of a backseat recently to DeRozan, but I like the price point here, and I like the matchup as well. DeRozan's been phenomenal for the Bulls, but like at a price at 10-3, it's a little bit hard to prioritize him. And then Vucevic at 9K, I think is a fair play. He's been kind of taking a backseat a little bit as well, but still a guy that does have a ceiling. As far as the guards go with White and Ayo, don't know if I get to either of them. I mean, Javonte Green at 3.9, he'll probably play mid-20s minutes, but I don't think it's necessary to go there. Moving on to Atlanta. So, Atlanta, we have John Collins, doubtful. Trae Young got injured, rolled his ankle, but did finish the game there against Boston. He's questionable, so that's obviously very significant news. So we're not expecting Collins to play. So we'll start with Capella, who is most likely going to start and play, low 30s minutes. Chicago's a big team, right? They're going to play Vucevic big minutes. So I think Capella is probably going to play, 30 to 32 minutes, which I think makes him a pretty good play here in the mid-range. So like Capella. Now, if Trae Young plays, I like him a good amount here for tournaments. We know the upside is there, unless when I play him, he shoots 3 of 17. But he is a guy that obviously has a ceiling. Now, if Trae Young misses, that's where things can get really, really interesting, right? Because then these secondary plays, Bogdanovich and Gallinari and Herter and Hunter are all going to look really, really good. And then, like, if they start a guy like DeLon Wright, I think he's going to become a really solid value. So, Trae Young news is massive. Chicago, there's still some Atlanta guys that are in play if Trae Young plays. But if Trae Young misses, this Hawks team looks way, way better. Memphis and Boston. So my boy, Ja Morant. I mean, kind of speechless at how he's been playing the last couple of games. He has been on fire. 46 and then 52 real life points. 3 of the last 4 games, 44, 46, and 52 real life points. Now, Boston is known for a better defensive team, so I would say he's more of a tournament option. But again, the ceiling is there, and right now he is just he is dominating. As far as the secondary options go, I mean, Steven Adams, he's been playing pretty consistent minutes. If we get around 30 minutes from him, I think he's a fair play in the mid-range. Triple J and Bane both have upside. I think I would rather take a shot, though, on Triple J. There's more of a headache with him, but the ceiling, I think, is a little bit higher. You know, we've seen 47-40 from him in 2 of the last 5 games. So it's just a guy that's always in foul trouble. Just always in foul trouble. If he can stay out of foul trouble, though, the ceiling is definitely there. As far as everyone else goes, I mean, Clark at 4-3, he'll play the backup 5 role. Playable. Melton is 4-7, a little bit too pricey for me. So Slow-Mo 4-4, he's fine, I guess, but there's none of the secondary plays really stand out for me on the Boston or on the Memphis side. Moving on to Boston. So Jaylen Brown is already confirmed out, which is pretty significant news. So Jason Tatum at 10K, I think makes for one of the better spin-ups in the slate. No Jaylen Brown. He's going to have to do everything for the team. Went for 33, 8, and 7 last game. So I think Tatum looks really, really good. And these secondary plays all get a pretty big bump with Jaylen Brown out. So we have Rob Williams at 6'9". He's probably going to play low to mid-30s minutes. I think he's a fair play in the mid-range. Al Horford at 6'1", probably sees an uptick in minutes. He played 34 minutes last game. I'm thinking, mid-30s minutes for Horford. Sorry, I can't talk. Marcus Smart at 6'4", gets a little bit of a usage bump. We already know he's going to play big minutes, though. I think we get more minutes for Derek White at 6'3", 20 and 22 before he played 28 minutes when Brown went down. So I'm thinking, we get maybe close to 30 minutes from Derek White. Grant Williams, a 4'6". He's probably going to play 25 to 30 minutes. I don't love the price point, though, on him. Pritchard probably is going to be in the rotation, but I don't know if he plays enough minutes for me to feel really good about it. Now, the issue is there's a lot of guys who are going to play a lot more, but the price points are up in these guys, right? So you have Williams at 4'6", Horford at 6'1". So, outside of Tatum, these guys are going to get, look a little bit better, but also their price points are to a point where it's none of them really stand out to me. So that's kind of Boston. Moving on to Miami and Brooklyn. Jimmy Butler was just awful tonight. Absolutely awful. Do they have the scores up? No, but I think he finished 20 fantasy points. I mean, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He had no assists. I don't know what was going on there, Jimmy, but this is a much better matchup here against Brooklyn. Kyle Lowry, I believe, is still going to be out for this game. We'll obviously keep an eye on that. He's missed the last couple games. If Lowry does miss, then, the 2 main guys here for Miami look pretty good in a great matchup, Jimmy and Bam. Jimmy will do a good amount of the ball handling. Tyler Hero's been great over the last 3 games. I'm just telling you, if I buy in, he is going to shoot awful. So, I just know what's going to happen if I play Hero. I know it. I have faded him last couple games. He has absolutely smashed. So you're welcome if you've played Tyler Hero. That's because I faded him. So, yeah, you owe me. But yeah, I think Hero is definitely a solid option there if Lowry can't go. And then Gabe Vincent, 4-5, and he's played pretty well. He had a really big game tonight. I don't know exactly what he finished with, but I think it was over 30 fantasy points. So if he's going to continue to play over 30 minutes, I think he's a pretty solid value play. We also saw Duncan Robinson get hot. I mean, he's a guy that does have upside, right? If he can make his shots, he's a guy that does have a ceiling, so he's always somebody you can consider in a tournament setting. But yeah, definitely a team that looks pretty good here against the Nets. Moving on to the Brooklyn Nets. So we do have Kevin Durant isn't on the injury report. Now, I don't think, let's see. We didn't get anything definitive, but I don't think he's going to play huge minutes. And with Durant back in this lineup, it really hurts everyone else. So, and we also have Drummond that is back. So him and Aldridge are going to split the center minutes. Tough matchup. So I don't think I can get to Durant unless there's news that he's confirmed, full go, going to play 38 to 40 minutes. But then, like I said, it really just hurts these secondary plays. James Johnson now probably moves back to the bench with Kevin Durant there. So there's really not much else here on the Brooklyn side that I'm looking to. So not a team that looks great in my opinion. Detroit and Toronto. So did not play Cade Cunningham. Stayed out of foul trouble and smashed. Same thing. If I play Cade Cunningham tomorrow, guaranteed 2 quick fouls. But obviously a guy you can look to in tournaments. The wings, Grant Bay, neither really stand out to me. The bigs, not much there either. Like Stewart 4.9, Olenek 4.7, nah. So this Detroit team doesn't look great in my opinion. I think Cade Cunningham really the only guy that I'm liking on the Toronto side. So Van Fleet, OG, they are both questionable. So this is huge news, right? If they are both out once again, the Toronto guys look good. We'll start with Pascal Siakam, who is just, he's cost me infinite money over the last week. Like, can you just stay out of foul trouble? Can the game stay close for Toronto for once? And can Siakam stay out of foul trouble? I mean, God, just every time it's blowout or he's in foul trouble. But yeah, if Van Fleet and OG Anunoby are out, I think Siakam still looks really, really good. I think Gary Trent and Scotty Barnes are going to look great in the mid-range too. We saw 39 minutes from Trent. We saw 41 minutes from Barnes. I think if Siakam would have stayed out of foul trouble, he would have played like 42 minutes. So I'm thinking if Van Fleet and OG are out, these three are going to play 40-ish minutes. And it's a great matchup as long as the game can stay competitive. And then value-wise, like Malachi Flynn, if he starts at the point guard, I mean, he's a great guy. He played 43 minutes last game. Like, yeah, I think Flynn is a great value play. And then these bigs off the bench are all in play. So Chris Boucher at 4.1K, only played 19 minutes last game. He's a guy that does have a ceiling, good point per minute guy. Achua, been a little bit up and down. He's had a couple ceiling games, kind of came back down to earth last game. They did close with Thad Young, or he wasn't the closing lineup for a bet. He played 23 minutes. I think of the three, Thad would probably be my favorite. And again, he is the cheapest of the bunch as well. Now, if Van Fleet and OG are both in, then probably Van Fleet would be my favorite play, assuming he's not limited at 8.3. But again, we'll keep an eye on that one. Golden State, and I had to take a deep breath after every time I talk about this team. I mean, you know what I'm going to say, right? Oh. Klay Thompson said that he expects to play. Obviously, pretty big news. We had Moses Moody and Damian Lee both get banged up. If, they're both out and Klay Thompson's out, then we can finally look to Jordan Poole, assuming that he actually starts. But it's looking like Klay is going to play. At the top, Steph Curry, again, play the tape. You know what I'm going to say about him. Klay Thompson at 6'5", assuming no limitations, and he's going to play 30 minutes. I think he's a fair option in the mid-range. A guy that does have a ceiling. Wiggins feels a little bit pricey with Klay back. Again, Poole, a little bit hard to get to with Klay back. I do think Looney's still a solid value, 4.4K. Played 26 minutes last game against Dallas. So if we're going to get mid-20s minutes from him, I think he's a relatively safe value play. Gary Payton, a 4-1. I mean, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he's played 27 minutes back-to-back games. Assuming he continues to start, I like him for value. I will just say it's still a little bit of an uneasy feeling because it's Steve Kerr, and you just never know, right? Kuminga's minutes have been a little bit all over the place. I think he's fine for tournaments. Otto Porter fine for tournaments as well. But I think that is it for Golden State. On the Dallas side, so Luka, like I said, 80% in high stakes last slate was a pretty big bust and a great matchup. But hey, that's DFS for you. Good players in good spots, they can bust. Anyone can bust on a given night. A player can be in the best possible spot. They can be $3,000 underpriced, and they can still bust. It's possible. Anyone can be a letdown. But yeah, Luka, 12-2. I mean, Golden State did play him pretty hard on the defensive end. He still salvaged that last game. I will say he's a solid option at the very top, but I don't know if he's a priority play for me. Brunson and Dinwiddie, kind of the secondary options. Again, they're just both neutral plays for me. Dorian Finney-Smith, Bullock. There's nothing else that really looks good. I mean, Maxi Kleber's at 4-2. If he plays mid-20s minutes, that looks okay. But yeah, they have Isaiah Thomas listed on this roster, even though he's on the Hornets. So I'm not sure what we're doing here, DraftKings. That's one thing I will say, DraftKings. Can we just get the player pool to the guys that are actually on the team, right? There's so many guys that are just not even on the team. Brandon Knight, not on the team. Melly hasn't played a game. He's playing overseas. What are we doing? Update the rosters. But yeah, that's it for Dallas, Sacramento, and San Antonio. So again, this team caused me incredible pain tonight, getting blown out. But now you have a matchup against the Spurs. It's a really good matchup. Once again, I'm pretty high on Sabonis. He was very low owned, was on pace for a massive game tonight, blowout. But yeah, if he stays out of foul trouble, I mean, you saw he's going to play close to 40 minutes. So I like Sabonis once again. I do have interest in De'Aaron Fox. When I play him, though, he becomes a score-independent player. If I fade him, he's just going to go for almost a triple-double. Back-to-back games and 10 assists. I play him, 2 assists. But yeah, 8.8, I think more tournament option. I think Harrison Barnes is a solid option in the mid-range. He should play low to mid-30s minutes. Same thing I said about these value guards like DiVincenzo, Lamb, and Mitchell. They're all kind of in the same group. I'll say one of those guys is a good game, but a little bit harder to trust those guys in a cash game setting. And then Trey Lyles like barely played tonight. So like if he starts again, yeah, he's in consideration, but obviously his role is not necessarily secure. Now, I wonder what his ownership is going to go way down, right? He's 80%, 80+% in the higher stake stuff. Now he's probably going to be like pretty low owned. So like if he starts again, yeah, you can consider him. I'm not confident in the minutes after what we saw tonight. Moving on to San Antonio. So the piece of news for San Antonio is Doug McDermott is questionable. Not huge news, really. DeJounte Murray at the top at 10-6. I like him for tournaments. I don't think he's an optimal spend up, but it's a really, really good matchup. And again, we know the ceiling is there. He's a guy that can do everything for the team. Jakob Poeltl at 7-5. I mean, he's been playing well of late, but the price point feels about right. Maybe a little bit overpriced. Keldon Johnson's at 5.8K. I think we probably get around mid-30s minutes from him, which makes him a fair play. Vassell's been starting. I mean, he should get over 30 minutes as well. Another play that I'm okay with. Lonnie Walker's been playing pretty well off the bench. But the price point has come up to a point where he's a lot riskier now. So I think that's it for the Spurs. I mean, Zach Collins, he'll play the backup 5, but I don't know if it's necessary to go there. More of a large field tournament play. And finally, the Lakers and the Clippers. So once again, we have LeBron James questionable. I'm telling you right now, he's going to play. Now at 11K, he's playable, but he's been struggling a bit of late, even with AD out. I don't know if they go back to Dwight at the 5 here against, Zubac and Hartenstein, or if they start LeBron at the 5. So we'll obviously monitor that. I mean, Westbrook at 8-2. Like I said, if he was 6K, I still don't even know if I would play him. I do like Melo off the bench at 5-3. I think we get around 30 minutes from him, and he's playing some small ball 5. I think he's still at a pretty good price point. We did see Malik Monk start. He played 39 minutes. So keep an eye on that starting lineup. If Malik Monk starts again, I think he's a pretty good value play. Town Horton Tucker is probable. He'll most likely come off the bench and play 25 plus minutes. I think he's a decent option, even though it was a letdown last game. Again, Dwight Howard was basically a DNP, so keep an eye on the starting lineup. I think I would only take a shot at him if he starts. The rest of the Lakers value, I just don't think I can stomach anyone else. Like Johnson or Reeves, I just don't think I can do it. I'm moving on to the Clippers. So Reggie Jackson 7-9. I mean, he was on pace for a pretty big game last game, and then the game blew out. We know the ceiling is there. He did struggle last time they played the Lakers, and they did not close with them. So, there's still, if you target someone in the Clippers, there's still no guarantee of their minutes, right? They're definitely have shown they will go with a hot hand, but I think he's a good tournament option. Avicii Zubac. So here's another one, right? I play him against the Lakers. Massive foul trouble, 12 fantasy points. Fade him the next couple slates, 50 and 44 fantasy points. At 6'5", again, if they don't start Dwight, I'm worried about Zubac's minutes. I think the Clippers could go small. So if Dwight starts, I'm going to feel a little bit better about Zubac. If he does not start, I'm worried about Zubac's minutes. Marcus Morris at 6K. I mean, he's probably going to play low 30s minutes. I think he's definitely someone that is viable in a tournament setting. Terrence Mann, again, feels priced about right. He'll play the backup point and most likely play over 30 minutes as well. Hardenstein will play the backup 5. That's too pricey, though, at 5K. This grouping of Covington and Kennard and Batum and Coffee, all playable options, but they're going to get a hot hand in the situation there. So, the Clippers, it's basically my same breakdown every time unless we have, a lot more players that are going to miss. So, that's going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, just make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. As always, really appreciate your guys' support. Like I said, I can't do this without you guys, so appreciate it, and good luck on the slate. I will see everyone in the next video.